City, your source for news. This is Aurora News Weekly.
Hello everyone, I'm Jackie Polisi.
And I'm Emily Rushing. Thanks for joining us. He was first elected to the Aurora City Council in 1979 and served 6 consecutive full terms over 30 years.
Now former City Councilman Steve Hogan will be Aurora's next mayor, and that's in this week's Inside Aurora. And for the first time in 24 years, the city of Aurora has a new mayor, and his last name is not Tower.
Right.
Mayor-elect Steve Hogan joins us, and we're so glad you're joining us today.
Happy to be here.
Wonderful. Well, congratulations. More than 40 years in public office, state representative, council member, and the highlight, of course, mayor of the city of Aurora.
Of course.
Of course.
Absolutely.
How's it feeling 1 week after election?
It's great. And you know, I haven't even been sworn in yet, and I'm already going 90 miles an hour. So it's about what I expected, but it's still new and different. So,
sure. It's a new chapter for you and your family. It's also a new chapter for the city of Aurora as you're succeeding a Tower legacy, if you will. 2 towers in office for more than 24 years. How does that feel?
Well, at first, it's amazing to think that I served with both of them on the city council. And in fact, Paul and I were elected to city council for the first time together.
Really?
So it's an interesting dynamic.
Yeah, it is.
But, you know, the city's different today, though. You know, with 330,000 people, new problems, new issues, whether it's Gaylord or what we do in the budget to address issues like libraries and swimming pools. It's just a different time, and I'm looking forward to it.
Looking forward to it.
There's so much going on in the city and so much to do as mayor. What are some of the first things that you want to focus on in Aurora?
Well, really, I think the first issue is the whole Gaylord Stock Show relationship with Denver. You know, Denver has decided, well, the city council and the city auditor at least have decided that they think Denver ought to pull out of the RTA application to the state. We need to have some conversations with Mayor Hancock. We need to make sure that if Denver actually does pull out, that doesn't negatively influence our Gaylord application. I think that Gaylord project can stand on its own and will stand on its own, but we can't be hurt by the kinds of things that a city to the west does. That's critical. Then there are some other immediate issues, the whole Mission Viejo Library District vote that failed, and what do we do with that library? The water questions with the WISE proposal that's out there, that's going to be important. And then just making sure that the city continues on that road to become more business friendly so that we can get new businesses in here that will create jobs and put our people to work. Those are all important.
And I know there's a lot of stressful things probably when you're a mayor, but what are you looking forward to maybe the most?
Well, I think it's just an opportunity to put maybe a different definition on the office. I think that there is a responsibility for the mayor to have regular ongoing interaction with groups like RTD, county commissioners from the 3 counties that we're a part of, the state legislature, obviously the Metro Mayor's group, which I know Mayor Tower was very active with, but I think there are those other entities as well. And I become the chief cheerleader, if you will, for the city. And I need to go out and tell everybody just how wonderful a place this is. And I need to do that every day, and I need to know how to weave that in with all of the policy and political issues that are out there. So it will be fun.
Yes, it will. Well, you can certainly use us to get that message across. We try to do the same. You mentioned Mayor Michael Hancock a few minutes ago. That relationship is pretty important to Aurora, to have that partnership with the city of Denver. Why is that?
Well, certainly we're the 2 largest cities in the metropolitan area. And someday, believe it or not, Aurora is going to be bigger than Denver. We will still have downtown Denver, and we will still have everything that happens there, but you're going to have this entity called Aurora that's actually going to be larger and hopefully will be just as vibrant and just as interesting. That's going to require a continuation of what really Mayor Tower started in the relationship with the Denver mayors. I think it's incumbent upon me to do that. I got to do the same thing. We have to learn how to work together. We also have to learn how to disagree without being disagreeable, because that will move on to the Denver Council and the Aurora Council. We don't need that. We don't need that at all. In fact, I think it would be a good idea, and I had a conversation with Councilmember Clalland the other day. It's time that the Aurora Council and the Denver City Council got together. And I think she's going to push that, and I'm happy to support her in that.
Well, that'll certainly
just have
be
a
interesting.
social opportunity.
Absolutely.
Let people know each other.
I like that idea. Well, talking about working together, I know that you received a phone call from Ryan Fraser, who was your primary competitor in this race, and he was congratulating you on election night, but he also offered his help.
Yes.
And I'm assuming you're willing to accept that help and the help of others.
Well, absolutely. Not only Councilmember Fraser, but Councilmember Pierce. You know, Brad's been on council for a while too, and both of them served well and did a good job. Trying to identify the best way to do that, I think, is going to require some conversations. Both of them need a little while to get over losing. Sure. Having been there, I've lost before. I know it doesn't feel good for about a week. And then you start to think, oh yeah, the sun still comes up, and so on and so forth, and then you can start talking. So we'll have those conversations.
Certainly.
And you've got 4 years ahead, and we're talking about the Gaylord Entertainment Complex and all of those things, but maybe what are some of your 4 personal goals, or even just a few personal goals that you have for the next couple of years?
Well, certainly I'd like to make sure that we are protecting some entities such as Buckley Air Force Base from any potential closure issues or cutback issues. I think that's critical. Making sure that we continue and improve the relationships with the University of Colorado and the Fitzsimmons campus. I want to make sure that we're finding a way to protect things like the Aurora Museum and those facilities. I think they're important for the cultural side of the city, so I'll be working with council on that. And then, as I mentioned briefly earlier, just the whole issue of getting more jobs for Aurora citizens. We still have most of our citizens who leave Aurora every day to work somewhere else. And when they do, they spend their dry cleaning tax dollars and their liquor store tax dollars and everything else, usually in some other city. They ought to be spending it here. It ought to be by Aurora.
Very, very good point. I know you're going to be very busy. I wish we could spend the full 30 minutes talking about all the things that you've got planned. We're excited to have you on board and look forward to talking much more to you. I know that you're looking forward to the swearing in next Monday night.
Yes,
so.
It'll be the time.
Yes, it will be the time.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
You're so welcome. Thanks again for joining us.
All right.